Welcome to the Metamorphosis Project Podcast. I'm your host, Tenya Eichenberg, and this is a space where transformation begins. Here, we dive deep into energy healing, self-care, and the power of mindset to help you break free from old patterns and design a life that feels aligned, vibrant, and authentically you. Each week, we explore the tools, techniques, and real-life experience that guide us toward lasting healing and growth. Because true metamorphosis isn't just about change. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. Now, let's get into this week's conversation. Welcome back to the Metamorphosis Project Podcast. I'm your host, Tenya Eichenberg, and today I have Nicole with me. Nicole is an animal communicator, a tarot card reader, and so much more. Her list of what you participate in, what you are doing with your life is very expansive. And there's in between you booking to be on the show and us meeting today, you've also opened up a wellness center.
Yes.
So
Well, thank you for having me, Tenya.
you're so busy.
We just jumped right in there.
Well, I do that. I'm not a person who, and this is something I'm trying to work on, is like, because when I tell stories, it's like I want to get to the point.
Yeah,
I'm not a storyteller. I'm like, here's the facts. Here's what you need to know. I'll see you later.
I'm the same way. So
I'm working on. So welcome to the show.
thank you.
Please tell us about you. Tell us who is Nicole?
Oh gosh. Well, that's a loaded question to
It
begin
is.
with. But if we want to start at the 30,000 foot view, I guess I always say I'm a spirit having a human experience. Um, as we all are.
Yeah.
But what I am doing here on Earth at this present reincarnation, if we want to get that woo-woo, I am a healing facilitator. And so it's intuitive healer, animal communicator. I started out as a tarot reader, reading the tarot. I studied, actually went to a online school in 2021, graduated in like late 2021. I did it in about 10 months. And then April of 2022, I went professional and just started doing readings. And it was very much like when I started learning the tarot, it was very much like I was remembering something I had once forgotten. It was
Mhm.
very, it was a very odd experience in that manner.
Yeah.
And it's just been like that my whole journey. Like even when I was studying what Reiki, and I was doing it and I'm like, no, I don't want to do it this way. There's another way I need to do this. And it kind of, led me on my own path. So so the intuitive healing that I do is actually my own form of Reiki, which isn't even really Reiki, it's energy work. And it's the amalgamation of using the tarot, using my knowledge of Reiki and using my knowledge of crystals and kind of creating a whole nother modality that I'm now teaching as well. And it's where I'm using the tarot to read the energy centers of the body and
Mhm.
then using those cards, much like someone would use distance Reiki and use a doll. I'm
Mhm.
using the cards to treat and deliver the energy. And then in that manner, I can add things to the tops of the cards like crystals or,
Right.
sound bowls or whatever. And I'm doing more in the treatment of that energy session than just,
Really
the
cool.
hands-on delivery of energy.
That's really cool.
Mhm.
So when this modality was coming to you, were there parts of you that were like, I have to do this different, but then there were other parts of you that were like, but this isn't what everybody says it's supposed to be.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
run into that with myself with, my work is rooted in the emotion code because that's where I started. That's what my first introduction to energy work was. And as the last several years have gone on, it's been more like, but that's not all there is.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more to it than just what they're teaching. So because I know listeners are going to be like, well, yeah, that's how I feel too, is like I'm learning something, but like something about it just doesn't feel complete. How did you overcome that other aspect of you that was like, no, you're not supposed to do it that way?
Right. And for me personally, it was a huge struggle because I for a long time, well, I don't want to say for a long time because it happened very quickly. I'm just going to say, um, it was like I took Reiki 1 and I walked away from it and I'm like, I already know all this. Like, there's got to be something else out there. And I kept getting the download. No, you have to use crystals. You have to use crystals. They're somewhere here. And I would just, I luckily had a lot of Reiki masters as friends and we just played,
Yeah.
and I went through that imposter syndrome of a long time of like everybody, and the Reiki masters are like, dude, you have something here and you already are a Reiki master. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not a Reiki master. Like, I'm not like, and
I don't have that piece of paper that says I am.
right, right. And that was the thing. It was very like, my rational conscious brain needed the piece of paper to comfortably say I'm a Reiki master to people. So I did do that. I went through and I did an online course. And then I was like, oh, well, you know what? I'll do a crystal Reiki master too. And I'll do a quantum Reiki master. So it was like I
Yeah.
expanded,
Yeah.
but it was almost like I did it after the fact of discovering this to calm that side of me down.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it really is a huge imposter syndrome. And then when you're trying to explain it to people and they're like, what?
Yeah.
And then yeah, and even other facilitators, I mean, I have one facilitator friend, he's like, you don't need all that. And I'm like, yeah, but I need that to bridge the gap between me and my client so that
Right.
my client understands what I'm saying and that
Right.
they're seeing the proof. It's not the fact that I need it, it's the fact that it's the way that the client can process it is what's
Right.
helping them.
Right. Yeah, because it sounds like that you are probably working with people who are still kind of new to the energy world.
Yes.
And yeah, so we can't go, I've had coaches tell me that as well, as like you don't need to explain that part. I'm like, but they don't understand. And it's like they don't need to understand. I'm like,
Right.
"Mm, but they ask questions. And so yeah, they do need to understand."
Right. And right. And I'm more deal with it's interesting because even my tarot readings when I was doing tarot at like just solely tarot,
Mhm.
it's more of like the shadow work. Like
Right.
when I work with a client, it's like, okay, this is what you need to delve into. This is what you need to do to heal. This is what you need to, well, actually not do, but this is what you need to look
Look at and address.
at,
Right. Right.
correct, in order
Yeah.
for your healing process to start. Because
Right.
we're not healers. That's why I was like,
Exactly.
I right. Like I would say intuitive healer for a long time. And I was like, oh, I was pretty comfortable with that for like maybe like the last 6, 8 months. And now I'm like, I'm a healing facilitator.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting to realize, like, okay, you know what? It's changed again. Like
Yeah.
there's another turn of the key. So now it's like, yeah, I'm a healing facilitator. And that's the thing, like, so like I've had other healer friends that have done sessions on me and they're like, oh, well, you're blocked over here. And I'm like, well, why? And they're like, I don't know. I just see it like that. And it's like,
Right.
no, I want to know why so I can
Right.
fix
Right.
it so that it won't come back.
Right.
And it's always kind of the way that I've worked. So
Well,
when,
yeah, because we don't want to, I'm the same way. We don't want to have to keep doing the work,
right,
right? We're not here to have to keep reprocessing the same things. It's like
exactly,
if my root chakra keeps getting blocked, why does it keep getting blocked? What is it that's there? Is it mine? Right? Is it even my energy that's
right,
blocking it? Right?
right,
I'm the same way. It's like even though it's like my ego is like I need to know, but it's because in this human experience, we need to be able to pass on that knowledge so that our clients, our future families can understand that oh well, this could be blocking what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you're desiring.
hmm
And so I think there's people who are working with those higher ascended beings, other humans that are up here energetically. And then there's ones who have to work with people who are energetically down here. And we need to have that array of people. And so please continue. I went on a little rant there.
No, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. So, and the other thing too is I was being called, but it kind of took me a few months to actually get this modality down because I started out with, oh, well, let's read your chakras with the tarot cards. And then I would work on the person. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I would like here, oh, put a crystal on them. Oh, okay. And I'll go get a little palm stone and put it on them or whatever. And then what happened was, again, the universe directs you. At that point, I was working inside a literal closet inside a yoga studio. It was a converted storage closet. Kid you not. I literally got a 5x7 rug and two 5x7 rugs like fit the length and the width of the whole entire place. But it was the
Got to
most
start
adorable.
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. It was the most adorable little spot. And then things just kind of, I grew out of it and I knew my time there was coming to an end. And I started to panic because I'm like, okay, well, I have this, but now I need to perfect this because I'm going to have to go virtual for a while until I can get myself somewhere. And that was kind of, where I really buckled down. And I was like, wait a minute, you know what? If people can use a doll, why can't I use the cards? If I'm reading the energy of the card, and it was just one of those things that just clicked one day. And I was working with another friend who was a Reiki master, and she was like, wait, it's working. Like, because I said, we got to try this virtual. I know I'm not going to be in this space much longer, blah, blah, blah. We just started this whole process. And and I did it. And I was like, wait. Let me try something else. And she's like, what? And I turned the cards over and she goes, you're working on the back of me now. So the cards themselves, yeah, it's really
Wow.
wild. The cards themselves have directionality so that if you're working with somebody and they need energy sent to the backside of their body, you just turn the cards over and work on the cards.
Right.
So, yeah. And it was
That's
how
really,
yeah. And I mean, as far as the center, I know, because this all ties together. As far as the
yeah.
center, this all happened last April 2024. I had seen the center. It was right by my house. I'm like, oh my gosh, this place is gorgeous. And I just wasn't ready. Like we put in a bid to purchase it and it came back and they denied it and they didn't want to work with us and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But it was something where it was like I was shown and I kept hearing like, no, it's still yours. And people kept saying to me, no, it's still yours. Like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
whatever. And
Don't get attached to the outcome.
yeah. I mean, talk about it. I mean,
Yeah.
an entire year went by and then they were willing to negotiate
Right.
with us and it's now our space.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
So
are you open yet?
I am open. We opened on June 9th was our first day. Six
Nice.
nine.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So that was our and we had a soft opening and then now we're going to have the grand opening on August 16th and that's in Randolph, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
It's Spirit Healer Wellness, spirithealerwellness.com. So I'm still doing virtual sessions because this delivery, the delivery of the energy can be in person or virtually.
Right.
So that's one facet of it, the tarot readings and the healings. But I've also kind of expanded because if I'm working in person, I can do what I call crystal immersions,
Mm-hmm.
where basically somebody lays down and I surround them in one specific crystal, all little ones, but
Right.
we
Yep.
circle around them and, we pump through healing frequency music. And that's like a whole session and you can order that. I kind of call it the crystal tanning bed because you can get like
Maybe
15
that rose quartz.
sessions. Yeah, exactly. 15-minute, 30-minute
Yep.
sessions, an hour, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I'm another service that I'm offering. I am also expanding. I have other facilitators come in. So I have somebody come in to do yoga. I have somebody come in to do sound bowls. So the things that I don't necessarily do, I'm still
Right.
also providing through other people. There's a small retail area. I'm also teaching my modality to other people so that they can become certified and do this. So it's not something where it's difficult or it's lengthy, but we have several sessions breakdown. So the first session we learn about the chakras and the crystals and how they correspond with one another and kind of learning how to feel that energy coming through our body.
Hmm.
Session is kind of how to do a healing for yourself and your family. Third session that expands. So you could stop at the two.
Right.
You know, basically, figuring out what's going on, using a pendulum, reading yes or no as far as if there's something going on with the chakras and
Right.
figuring that out. But if you're a tarot reader and you want to go further, that's what the third session is for. And then I have another layer where it's using more specific kinds of crystals like towers and double points and volt
Hmm.
crystals and all of that stuff so that you can take it. And then there's another layer in there as far as working with groups. So I figured out a way to, or downloaded,
Yeah. Yeah.
figured
Yeah.
out,
Our
downloaded.
human cells say,
Yes,
this came to me. I figured it out.
right.
The
Yeah.
woo side of us is it was downloaded.
Exactly. Like I want to honor spirit, but at
Yeah.
the same time, it's kind of like how much in the real world do I stand and say I figured it out, spirit downloaded it to
Right. Well,
me?
I also look at it this way as well. When I say I figured it out, there is a part of us that worked with spirit, that worked with our inner spirit to bring this up, to bring this down to us.
Correct.
Um, so I think there is a strong part of us in spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Agree.
so yeah, and so it is us
Yeah.
that is
I
remembering what it is
right.
that we've already done.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I want to remain as respectful as possible,
Yeah.
because it's the
Yeah.
only way we get more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, universe.
Right. So, this part of the modality is actually being able to work with groups. So before a group session, I commune with spirit using a pendulum and calculate which crystals would be benefit the good of the whole.
Right.
And then that way I grid it in a special way and then I send the energy to the crystals and then it goes out into the room and then they're getting the energy but they're getting it in the way that they need to receive it. So
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
everybody is getting it in a different way and it's so cool that at the end when we come together and there's 10, 12, 15 people and we go around, I open the circle at the end and allow everyone to speak about their experience and it's so vastly different from person to person
Yeah.
and it's amazing. It really is.
It is. You're quantum healing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, and it's we all have that ability to heal in that way. And
Mhm.
it's wonderful that you're able to hold that space for a large group of people. Because I think that's one of the things that I want to try to demystify is that energy work doesn't have to be consuming.
No.
Any healing work doesn't have to be consuming. In the beginning, it's going to be because we're learning to set boundaries, to facilitate what it is, figure out what it is that we need to be
Mm-hmm.
able to heal whatever it is that's going on.
Right.
But once we get to that point and we figure out the routine or the structure, it does not have to take hours a day.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. It can be very, very instantaneous.
Yeah. And the other thing too is the way that I teach it. So there's a couple things that, we always say your biggest weakness is your strength.
Yeah.
And, I And at this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? I got to lean into this because for the longest time, it bothered me that I wasn't clairvoyant. Like I have all the other clairs, but
Right.
the seeing. And it- really, what I've kind of come to the conclusion of is that if I had clairvoyance, I wouldn't have come to this modality the way that I have.
Right.
Discovered it,
Right.
because the cards, the tarot cards are my clairvoyance. Like
Yeah.
that's what's keeping my eyes busy to so that I'm getting the information. So there's a lot of other people out there that aren't clairvoyant that want to be healers and want to understand what's going on. And it's like, wow, okay, so I can deliver this to them that they can understand it and learn it and still feel that they're healing or
Right.
helping themselves heal or other family members or whomever it
Yep.
is
Yeah.
with their healing process and not have to have all of these, you know, clairs. They
Right.
don't have to have all of them in order to do this. So,
Well, I'm wondering if, and this just popped in my head, if clairvoyance isn't just about seeing here, but it is about seeing here,
mhm,
and it's about seeing here.
right.
Right? It's there's so many different ways to be able to see the full picture.
Yeah.
And I think most people, when they think of clairvoyance, it's like, I've got to be able to see pictures in my mind. And it's like, I see blackness. When I close my
Same,
eyes, I see blackness.
same,
But
same.
I get knowings, like I know things.
Yes.
And so that's, that's part, I think, of what you're supposed to be teaching, is that your clairvoyance is not just in the mind's eye. That's why we have two eyes, is so that we can see what other people can't see.
Right.
And with you, it was with the cards and the crystals.
Yeah.
That's spectacular.
Thank you.
So amazing.
Thank
And
you.
and now you're teaching others to do the same,
Yes.
and you're passing your knowledge on to clients through your wellness center, through virtual healings. And how does that, because I always like to talk about feelings and emotions. So what is that feeling, that emotion that it brings you when you sit back and go, I helped to create this. I created this.
It's it's very humbling. I get emotionally
Don't start
overwhelmed.
crying.
I do. I actually do. I get so very overwhelmed. Um, because I mean, and I think that because it was a huge struggle of confidence,
Yeah.
like who am I? It's I've gone through several, as we said earlier, just, you know, personality, like, who am I in order like to do this? Like, am I, you know, it was kind of like, well, I'm not a Reiki master. How can I teach other people how to heal? Like, and it was kind of like this whole big, you know, that you go through your identity crises,
Yeah.
and and I feel like you learn through those identity crises too, because those are parts of ourselves that need to be healed. Am I even answering the question? Like, I'm not quite sure. I might be.
Overwhelm was the answer,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
it
but
is. It's
please keep going.
really, yeah, no, it's very overwhelming, and I think at the same time it's always like you said earlier, like you always have to check in and like leave the ego at the door. Like it's not, and it's hard as humans because ego is part of who we are. It's not.
Mhm. We can't just get rid of it.
No, well, we're not here to kill it,
Yeah. Yeah.
because our ego is what makes us an individual. But
Yeah.
there's an but like everything else, like when I talk about energy, and I feel like ego is the same way. When I talk about energy, I tell people, you know what, there's not negative energy and there's not positive energy. It's you have an energetic set point.
Right.
And if there's anything above your set point, that's positive, and there's anything below your set point, that's negative. So
Right.
it's not necessarily negative and positive. And I feel like ego is almost kind of like that same barometer.
Hmm.
We have the set point, but then we're like, "Wah," we get all full of
Right.
ourselves and we're up here, and then we're like, I'm crap, and you're like down here. So it's kind of keeping it in balance like everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when people talk about like they had an ego death, it's like it's not like you said, we're not killing the ego. We're rebalancing it,
Right.
right? And that's what's important. And it's important to also have a chat with your ego, especially when things that seem fearful start to come up and your ego's like, no, I can't do that. And it's like you have to talk to your ego because your ego sometimes still thinks that these fears that you're feeling are uh they're gonna kill you, right? That they're gonna harm you. That this is a saber, the old this is a saber-toothed tiger chasing you.
Right.
And that's not the world we live in now. And so we have to make it a habit of talking to our ego as well. And, if you found talking to yourself, just put your earbuds in. No one's going to know you're not talking to somebody else.
Well, and the other thing too is the ego, like that's kind of what I'm hearing right now. See, hearing,
Yep.
the ego is the shadow of ourselves.
Yeah.
It's the wounded shadow, but it's also, that hubris shadow. So,
Right.
it's all tied in and it's all connected and it's really fascinating.
Yeah. And what energy work, what conscious work does, what shadow work does is it allows us to bring all of these different aspects of us together and kind of like have a conference and be like, how can we work together? How can we be an internal family? and,
No, it's true. I
and
mean,
work as one as
right.
opposed to fighting each other.
And even the things like I've kind of was reading a book over the weekend and they were talking about how, you have all of these other ancillary characters
Mhm.
inside you that talk, inside your head and
Oh
all the
yeah.
voices. And I'm like,
Thousands of them.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, and I kind of came to the conclusion one time because I was like, when they talk about like past life, like, did you ever read was it Many Masters, which one I'm talking about? Many Lives, Many Masters, I think it was.
I don't think I've heard of it, but I don't think I haven't
Okay.
read it. No.
So basically, it was a woman who went to a psychiatrist, or yeah, I think he was a psychiatrist, and they did past life regression.
Hmm.
All of these past lives started coming out, and with every session, she got better and better because she kept dealing with what was going on and the
Right.
fears that were from the past lives.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like reading this book over the weekend, and I'm like, wait a minute. What if every voice in your head is an iteration of your past life?
It's and your past life is not just we died and came back. It can also be inner children.
Right.
It can be like when I started getting into aspect work, I would have like that girl aspect come up. And it was that part of me that was so enamored with like the articles and images in 17 magazine,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we create these different aspects, not just brought into this life from past lives or future lives, but
Right.
different timelines. I mean,
Yep.
it can be extremely overwhelming when you start to get into this aspect work because you're like, there's how do I deal with all of this? And
Yeah.
you just deal with the one that comes up in the moment and don't worry about the rest. But yeah, when you see people walking down the street, homeless people talking to themselves, I feel that that's who they're talking to, is those different aspects of them, those different is like was it IFS, the internal family system.
Mm-hmm.
um that's where that comes from as well, is like different personalities,
Yeah.
is those could be past lives coming up to converse with you to help you figure things out. um and traditionally we're not there yet.
No.
We
We get closer though. We're getting
are.
closer. I
We
really, I
are.
really believe it. I mean, even me personally, I was psychic pretty much my whole life. Came from a family of people that were psychically gifted, but so both my great grandmothers were healers. Like they
Mhm.
were Italian traditional healers. And my grandmother really didn't. But like looking back now, I'm like, oh man, both my grandmother and my grandfather were gifted. I know it. Like I know
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
that I could see it. My grandmother's was like did a lot of like really believed in a lot of like dream divination and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I did grow up around, hey, there's a feeling, oh, I had a dream and this happened. And so I felt like it was normal. So things like that were happening to me. And it just started getting stronger and stronger, but I never really leaned into it
Right. Right.
as a kid.
Yeah. Well, if you
And
didn't have any guidance, how would you know
right.
how to?
Exactly. And, I had my uncle had passed when I was 14. He was my godfather. I was extremely close with him. And yeah, I'd hear him. I'd have conversations with him from the other side. And I was like, oh, isn't that normal? Like, I just thought it was
Right.
normal. Like, and that's the other thing too. Like I was saying earlier, like we have this set point where we think it's normal because we're not living in other people's bodies.
Right. Right.
So, it wasn't until I looked back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was doing psychic work and didn't know it like my whole life. Like I've been, and there's so many other things, but the fact of with the tarot, I was even like, oh, we don't do the tarot, blah blah blah. We don't go near that. It's,
Hmm.
and 2020, my dad passed away and just everything blew the doors off everything for me,
Yeah.
and I started realizing like, oh wow, there's another world out there. Like there's, connection and oh, you mean, because I had a friend who was a medium and then she finally started like opening up and being like, oh, your dad's here and so is your grandmother and this one and that one. And I'm like, what? You know? And
Yeah.
it was just, and it was interesting because it was through her I was asking questions to the other side, getting confirmation of my own abilities.
Right.
It was so, and then one day I was like, oh, well, you know what? Let me just like do one of these like new age witchy boxes in the month subscriptions. Maybe I'll get some candles. Maybe I'll get some herbs. And the tarot deck shows up like a full on deck, like first month. And I was like, okay, is this what you guys want me to do? And that was literally it. Like I never had a tarot reading because even when it was presented to me, I'm like, I don't want to get the death card and I don't want to get this card. And I don't want, thinking that there was this,
Yeah.
and like the death card is my favorite card. Like I get it. I'm like, yeah, change is coming.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just, the way that society has trained us to think about things and they feed into that fear,
They do. They
unfortunately,
do.
to
Yeah.
control us. And
Yeah.
it's sad because it's something that, us as facilitators have to bang up against
Yep.
to get through to people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I've had many people unfollow or stop conversing because I also work with entities, and so entity works will come, entities will come up and they're just energy like everything else.
Right.
But because of the fear that TV and movies have put into people, people just they kind of shy away from that. And so yeah, it's if we didn't have all of that fear mongering, can you imagine where this world might be if we didn't have people saying, "Oh no, that's evil."
Hmm.
It'd be pretty amazing where like how compassionate this world would be if fear was not so high up on the ladder.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you were able to come to terms with your fear, and your ancestors helped you to move past that. So that's absolutely wonderful because now you get to share it with the rest of the world. And imagine all the people that you're helping because you opened up that box and said, "Okay, fine. I'll step into it."
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I think the biggest takeaway for anybody watching this,
Hmm.
even if they're not at this level that we are working as facilitators, I think the biggest thing is that like you have to like let go and just trust the universe. Like
Yeah.
you have to trust that everything happens for a reason, but you have to also believe that. Like you could say, oh, everything happens for a reason, but like you're being guided and you don't even realize you're being guided. And that's
Yeah.
kind of, you know, when I was, even with the struggle of like I saw the center and then it fell through and I'm like, okay, whatever. It's just it's not right now. Like I'm not
Right.
ready now for it. And then yeah, look at it. It circled back around literally a year later. It's mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Human time sucks.
mhm,
Human time sucks.
yeah.
But when you look back over the last year, it doesn't seem that long ago,
No.
right? That year goes by. Like I look back and my kids are in their mid-20s, and it's like I look back and going, my God, I feel like they were just babies yesterday.
Yeah.
And now they're having babies. Like
Yeah.
human time sucks when you're walking through it, but then when you look back, it really does go by super fast.
It does. It does. I mean, and that's the thing too, because it's, you know, this whole journey that I've been on, it feels like I've been doing it forever,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's just like, wait a minute, I only picked up the tarot deck in like October of 2021. Like, what? You
Yeah.
know, and it's just, it hasn't even been 5 years from the beginning of that journey to where I am today.
Yeah.
And it's just that I feel like time has been really wonky lately,
Yeah.
since 2020. Like
Yeah.
it feels like it's slow and then it feels like it speeds up. Like it's very unusual. But at the same time, I feel like when you fall into something that you're meant to do, it feels like you've been doing it forever.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. Nicole, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom and your knowledge. And I'm excited to see where this modality and how your wellness center does, and just excited to see how life unfolds. So if you're in New Jersey, please go and check out her wellness center. What is it called again?
It's Spirit Healer Wellness, and it's spirithealerwellness.com. Facebook is Spirit Healer Wellness. Everywhere else, as far as um, Instagram, I'm on Spirit Healer Wellness on Instagram as well, but that's like the sub account. So it's
Hmm.
Spirit Healer LLC. So
Okay.
that's where everything else is. But if you go to my website, everything will link out to wherever you need to go, the events, the activities. Hopefully planning on doing a retreat in October, just like a weekend retreat if somebody wants to come to the center. And I want to aim it towards divination
Okay.
time around, so it'll be really cool. But there's all different um, programs and things going on. I will eventually I want to get the center rolling, and then I will eventually incorporate doing virtuals at the same time.
Hmm.
I want to get the physical site going first, and then I will be adding that hopefully within, the next 6 months or so. So that's 2026 already.
So many goals. I
I know.
love it. I love it. Nicole, thank you again for coming on.
Thank you
Make
for
sure you
having me.
guys, oh, you're welcome. Make sure you guys go to her website, follow her on all of her socials, reach out to her if you have any questions or you want to experience her new modality. And what is it called again? I don't
I'm
think you covered that.
No, we didn't. That was another thing that it was like imposter syndrome. I'm like, what do I name it? What do I name it? So I'm literally at this point, it's called the Colella Method. So, just pretty simple.
It works.
Something else comes along. It's
It
the Colella
works.
Method right now. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Make sure you guys go and check her out. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Metamorphosis Project podcast. I hope today's episode brought you inspiration, joy, and a spark of empowerment. Remember, transformation is an incredible journey, and every single step you take towards self-care and healing brings you closer to the life you truly desire. If this episode uplifted you, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support helps us to share this journey of hope, resilience, and joy with many listeners. For more tips, support, and inspiration, come and visit us at designyourexistence.com. Until next time, keep growing, keep healing, and keep shining brightly. You are absolutely worth every bit of love and care you give to yourself. Take care, stay joyful, and be well.